Here is the evolution of iPhone icons, from detailed skeuomorphism to the new liquid glass effect in iOS 26. On iOS 1, the phone icon was a white receiver on a green gradient background covered by a glossy finish. iOS 3 added subtle lines, while iOS 7 brought a flat look and a new receiver. iOS 11 reintroduced gradient, and on iOS 26, we get liquid glass, with a stronger gradient and subtle reflections available in dark mode or clear. The same style and changes also applied to the messages icon, from a green icon with the text SMS inside a chat bubble to a glossy icon available in dark mode or clear. The Safari icon showed a realistic and detailed compass, slightly stylized on iOS 4 and totally changed with iOS 7. iOS 11 slightly rounded the compass needle tip, and iOS 26 added even more details. The settings icon was very complex and technical. iOS 4 brought sharper shapes, followed by iOS 6, which rounded them. With iOS 7, it received the flat style and was completely redesigned. iOS 26 brings a new gear shape, which now looks much better. Apple used a brown notebook for the contacts icon, more contrasted on iOS 4 and totally changed with iOS 7. iOS 11 added another person as a symbol and removed the letters. Starting with iOS 13, the icon became simpler, and iOS 26 fades the colors while keeping the liquid glass style. The camera icon went through many changes, from a very realistic photo lens to a flat icon introduced on iOS 7, slightly refined until iOS 26, which once again brings a big, realistic photo lens. Want more videos like this? Then hit the new hype button and help us grow this community. It's free, and it helps us a lot. Thank you. The App Store icon had a ruler, a pencil, and a brush forming the letter A on a gradient glossy background. iOS 7 completely restyled the design, followed by iOS 11, which adopted new shapes for forming the letter A. iOS 26 makes it more transparent. The Mail app had the same style, from a realistic envelope on a sky background with clouds to a flat look and, more recently, transparent on iOS 26. The Photos icon was also realistic, a sunflower on a sky background until iOS 7, which introduced colored elliptical shapes. iOS 26 kept them, but refined them with darker colors and liquid glass details. The Notes app had a symbol-aligned notepad, with iOS 4 adding the torn page effect. iOS 7 totally changed the icon, and iOS 26 refined it in a more pleasant and elegant way. The calendar icon was suggestive and quite simple. Of course, the redesign brought by iOS 7 was major. It continued in this style until today, where the font is bolder and more contrasted. The Calculator app started with a rather simple and clean design, then iOS 4 modified it into 4 sections, and iOS 7 changed its color scheme. Starting with iOS 11, we got the calculator symbol on a gray background. It looks better this way. The Clock app went through many changes that were quite similar to each other. The major change came with iOS 26, where Apple removed the rounded shape and kept a cleaner look. The Weather icon had a realistic look, with a bright sun. Since iOS 7, the icon is flat, with a sun and a cloud. That's it. At first, the Maps icon showed the old Apple campus, located in Cupertino, California. iOS 6 slightly changed the style, as did iOS 7, but with the launch of iOS 11, Apple updated the icon to show the new Apple Park headquarters. Today, the icon is more prominent and colorful. The Files app arrived with iOS 11 and had a flat blue folder icon. Now, the folder is better outlined and brighter. The FaceTime icon borrowed the realistic design from the camera, but after iOS 7, everything became flat, with a green background and a stylized symbol that continues to this day. The Apple Passwords app was introduced with iOS 18, with a flat look of 3 colored keys. Now, the keys have a new design and you can see almost their entire shape. The Reminders app was introduced with iOS 5 and had a notepad look with lines and a checklist symbol. iOS 7 changed the look to something simpler and more colorful, refined up until today on iOS 26. Much better now. Apple Wallet was introduced on iOS 6 and showed a pocket with various tickets. iOS 7 arranged the tickets horizontally, and starting with iOS 9, Apple added a wallet, which today is slightly transparent. iOS 5 also introduced the News app, a wooden bookshelf. iOS 7 showed more magazines, and starting with iOS 9, everything gradually simplified until today. The Music app was initially called iPod and was represented by one on an orange background. iOS 3 added lines, and starting with iOS 5, the app was renamed Music and had a musical note as symbol. The colors kept changing until today. This was the evolution of iPhone icons. Which design do you prefer? Skeuomorphic, flat, or liquid glass? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and if you give us a like and leave a comment, it really helps us out. Thank you.